Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Rich. Welcome back. Let's talk about investment risks. I highlight them a little bit in bits and pieces, but I just want to dedicate this standalone video on the topic of risk management when it comes to starting a business in Nigeria, investing in Nigeria, for Nigerians abroad. Two things you should always count on when you are in a position or you have an opportunity to invest in Nigeria. Always follow your gut instincts. And secondly, you always use common sense. It's very simple. Following your intuition and just good old-fashioned common sense is going to get you farther than any consultant, expert, lawyers, team can get you. Common sense and your intuition. Because as hard as we all work abroad, there are always people working even harder to separate you from your hard-earned money. I always say there's no better time to invest in Nigeria than now. There's no better time to invest in Nigeria than now. The country is ready and open for your investments. And at least, at the very, very minimum, for your attention. I'm not going to delve too much into the news that's happening in Nigeria with the situation in Julius, but I'll touch a little bit upon it. So, Julius Berger, the multinational company that we all know, that we all grew up on. I mean, this is the multinational company that built the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos. They also built Asho Rock. That's the presidential villa in Abuja. Apparently, Julius Berger purchased a piece of prime choice property in Abuja 20 years ago. They had the C of O documentation, which stands for the certificate of occupancy. I mean, this land was 100% legitimate. And then you fast forward 20 later, the current Federal Capital Territory minister, his name is Nyesom Wike. He's from Rivers State. Got on a press conference and basically repossessed that land from Julius Berger. Whether Julius Berger was compensated or not, but just from the news sources and things that I know, they weren't. They basically, Nyesom Wike, the minister, took the COO documentation, ripped it apart, and repossessed the land to build housing for Nigerian judges in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. So that is one incident. Another incident recently, about a couple of months ago, made news in Lagos, where one of the top real estate development firms in Lagos State had their beachfront property also repossessed and demolished by the current government so they can use that real estate to build. They absorbed it into the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project that they're currently working on. Also, similar to the Julius Berger matter, the landmark developer also had a CFO that also was not honored. So these are the risks that are involved in Nigeria, and it's not something that you always have to. I'm not saying don't invest, but you always have to have these things in the back of your mind. Okay. What I always tell people is choice properties, like beachfront properties or properties that are like in the choice environment of Nigeria, Abuja, prime spots in Lagos, prime spots in Port Harcourt. You should generally stay away from those sort of opportunities. Those so I call them BSOs, bright shiny objects. What you want to look for are opportunities in emerging areas. Emerging areas. The land that we are currently building our corporate housing, my father bought that land in 1989 when I was 11 years old. At that time, Uyo was still a village. There was really nothing happening. There was not much happening in Akwa Ibom State. I even believe at that time, it could have been, I'm not sure Akwa Ibom State was developed at the time. Maybe it was still on that Crush River, I'm not sure, but I know the former head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, was the person who created Akwa Ibom State. So I gotta check to see what year Akwa Ibom was actually established, because Akwa Ibom used to be part of Crush River State. But they purchased the land in 89 when that area was still a village. You fast forward 36 years. That area is the epicenter of Uyo, where we're building this property that we're building at the moment. But that's 36 years in the making. Okay. The entire area was, I think it's like all but 2 lands in that entire area was undeveloped. One of which happens to be the land that I inherited, that I'm building our corporate housing project at the moment. So key things to avoid: beachfront properties. Beachfront properties, whether it's in Lagos. Someone once tried to sell me I'm not going to mention the name of the town because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm not going to mention the name of the town, but someone once tried to sell me a beachfront land 4 years ago for $3,000. Upon further research, it turned out that entire area, every square inch of that beachfront area, was actually owned by an oil company that wanted to use it for their oil refining capabilities, and use it for their oil refining. So things like this is what you are bound to face at some point in your path and your journey towards investing in Nigeria. You're always going to have someone, or you're always going to run into someone that's going to try to swindle you or try to put a fast one on you. So you just got to make sure that you stay away from those bright, shiny objects. And what I said initially at the beginning of this video, common sense, and also follow your gut feeling, you follow your intuition. So bright, shiny objects, beachfront properties. Anybody that comes at you and says they have a beachfront property to sell, you want to avoid that. You want to avoid that situation by all means necessary. The only person that I personally can say is legally, or can legally, at least if I'm in a situation where someone offers to sell me a legitimate beachfront property in Nigeria, it's gotta be, I wouldn't entertain it unless it's from the governor himself. unless I'm sitting in front of a governor with a consortium of investors. We're sitting with the governor, we're looking in his eyes and we're shaking his hand. If that deal doesn't come directly from the governor of that state, I wouldn't touch it. I would not touch it. High risk. When you come across an opportunity that is too good to be true, high risk, too good to be true, opportunities where they are offering you an unusually high return for your investment in a short period of time, you want to avoid those scenarios. If someone is trying to sell you land without the original deed, you want to avoid that. You want to avoid it. If you are in a situation where the other party just reeks of desperation, it's one thing for someone to be motivated to sell their property or motivated to be in partnership with you. It's one thing to be motivated. But when they start reeking of desperation and they are very, very pushy and they are rushing you, oh, if we don't get this deal done by 24 hours time, we're gonna lose it. Or we gotta have this deal done in a couple of hours. If we don't get it done by the end of the day, we're gonna lose it. You want to avoid scenarios like that. There is no deal worth you losing your life savings over. It can wait. You know a legitimate deal when the buyer and the seller are willing to walk away. That is usually a good indicator that this could be or this is legit. When the buyer and the seller are both willing to walk away from a transaction, that's a telltale sign that it's probably legit. When a deal or an opportunity, a land or a property is priced at market value with room for negotiation, because you're never going to pay full price. There's always that you got to negotiate with room for negotiation. You know it's a legitimate deal you should probably consider. But if it's priced way undervalued, way below the market value, and the scam now is, oh, we have to sell because there's a family emergency, or we have to sell at this price. We're cutting down the price by 50 to 75% because we're trying to get out of Nigeria. We're trying to travel. When that's the scam now. When they're trying to pressure you into something based on the fact that you're gonna lose out, or we have multiple offers, walk away. A lot of these real estate gurus, I'm not saying that they're not legitimate, but you got to do your homework. And a lot of these consortiums, there's people, it's like a pyramid where they get money from this person, they get money from that person, and they're promising all these returns. Things like that, situations like that, you really, really want to do a double take on them. You want to really, really research and make sure that they're legit. Ultimately, follow your gut instincts and use common sense. Unlicensed agents hawking real estate deals, hawking lands. They are all over. You see all these people all over YouTube in Nigeria. They have this property for sale or that property for sale. Now they call them distress sales. Oh, the developer ran out of money. And as a result, they just want to sell the property, take their losses, and move on. You really, really want to avoid those. I am not into cryptocurrency. There was a point where I entertained the idea of maybe buying crypto here and there. There was a point about 4 or 5 years ago. Unless you are a crypto expert, you know the cryptocurrency world, you want to stay away from things like that. Only entertain an industry that you know. Because there's a lot of cryptocurrency platforms that are going under. I'm not saying crypto is not legitimate. Bitcoin, yes. I think by now we can all agree that Bitcoin is legit. If you can afford to pay the $90,000 for one. I think we can all agree that Bitcoin is, but everything, Ethereum is legit too. But cryptocurrencies that are being offered by celebrities, that are being offered by business people, that people you should probably watch out for those. Nigeria is still safe for you to invest. Still very much a safe country for people to, I mean, the Chinese are doing it. The Muritala, the Muritala Mohammed, they call it Muritala Mohammed 2 airport, the international airport in Lagos right now. The Chinese are in control of developing that project. A lot of our natural raw materials, like the granite chippings, a lot of the construction building materials, raw materials from Nigeria are owned by the Chinese. So you can go and invest. But you gotta really watch out for these deals and these opportunities that are just too good to be true. Because once you are separated from your money, it's almost impossible for you to get it back. Prosecution is a pain. Tracking down and getting these people who have been ripping people off to get them to get prosecuted is a pain. So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Emerging safe bets is what you want. You want to invest in emerging markets. I've said it before that the rural development, there's a lot of focus on rural development right now. Developing in rural emerging towns. If you can't find deals in the city, start looking into the rural areas. Maybe a place that's an hour away from the city. Maybe a place that's an hour and a half away drive from the city. These are rural emerging communities. There's a lot of them out there that you can invest in with confidence. I just want to put that out there, guys, because I know we talk a lot about, or I talk a lot about investments on this property, but I was just thinking today, you know what? I need to talk about some risks. There are definitely risks involved, just like in any environment that you go, in any market that you go. Here in the United States, there are investment risks all over the place. People are going to gain, people are going to lose, but you can't let fear cripple you from taking action or prevent you from taking action. So watch out for those BSOs. Watch out for those bright, shiny objects. All the fast talkers. When someone is rushing, they're aggressive, they're pushy. Deals that are too good to be true. I'm recapping now. Opportunities that are offering you exceptionally high returns with very, very low minimal risk on your side, you want to watch out. My name is Richard Barricade, guys. I'm based in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. I'm a Nigerian-born US citizen, focused on investments in Nigeria. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and also subscribe. I really appreciate you all. We are at 1,400 subscribers at the moment. Viewership keeps on growing every day. So let's keep getting this content out there to allow me to keep making these videos for you. I really appreciate you all. And thank you for tuning in, guys. I will catch up with you another time. All right? Take care.